Hello everybody and welcome back to Beyond the Veil Background Information. We're doing a character profile and we're doing the second to last one of the reciprocity characters that are in the main cast. And as always with the character profiles, I'll give you a brief quote from the character or where they are in the story. I'll give you a little bit of information as to why I created the character, and then I'll give you their character profile. So we're doing Klah Swift from Reciprocity. So this is fantastic. I'm getting loads of information, and not a single one of them knows that I'm actually a sensitive fellow trying to comprehend how he was trapped in some kind of pod and missed 50 years. Being undercover is such a blessing to facing reality. Quote from Reciprocity. Klah sort of rounds up the main cast with one other member who, like Klah, is not very in every chapter, but when he turns up is very useful. Klah is initially one of the additions that's supposed to get the characters considering a much bigger plot, and indeed he is what leads them often to the bigger plots. As much as he is in that sense a plot device and one of the main cast members, sometimes I worry that Klah is a bit shoehorned in at times. The region of the Fallen Archipelago is supposed to have a real variety of people there, but Klah is probably the only attempt at an Indigenous American character within the main crew I've tried. I worry that I'm not doing a good service either, but anyone reading the story once again, like with all others, is welcome to correct me where they feel I need to change something. And Clara is one of a couple of characters to claim to be a First Nation descent, but he is the most important, and the more the story goes on, the bigger his role. Basically, I needed a plot device character that was clearly making a point by their own existence that something was fundamentally flawed in the way they were viewing their world and the narrative they had, but also a character that was detached enough from the main characters at times that I could get him to go out and do things with the bad guys and help be even more of the plot device to steer them into the right place. Being an earth elemental work to help with the different kinds of things he has to do, and well, he has a sunny outlook because he's actually trying not to focus on the realities of what he's missed, and so when he has to confront it, it will be what actually brings them all to the greatest lie in the story. So he's very important, but never sure if I write him well enough. I mean, I'll be honest, I feel like that with a lot of characters sometimes because I realise they're not just the character in the story. I have to think about the ramifications elsewhere. So I try, but if sometimes I think I try too hard, and sometimes I don't think I try enough. So any input you have on anything I should do to change or alter a character if you read the story, let me know, because you know I'm only as good as I'm allowed as I can be. As any help into developing myself and changing things so I'm better at writing is important. So anyway, name, Klah Swift, position, Earth Elemental, story featured in Reciprocity, role, main cast, plot driver, plot device, gender male, description, short, long, dark hair, Finn turns into a white-tailed deer most regularly, big dark brown eyes, tan skin, neat face that's almost very deer-like. Realm of the Veil abilities can turn into various animals that walk upon the earth as well as into flowers and link with trees. Master, not particularly clear. Personality, gentle understanding, stutters a little vague at times but determined. Relations, parents that are now deceased and siblings that are older, and an uncle who is very important but not to be named for plot reasons. History. Class history is a little confused. His family is descended from the mostly Navajo community, but amongst the fallen archipelago and the story of how the family came to be here is debated and confused. But Klah is one of several children and the one that doesn't speak up the most. He tends to be clumsy and wants to do something important in life, but his family are more aware of the limitations out there for him, and sometimes his father can be unpleasant with him and pushing him. His father encourages him to go on to the boats to escort the prisoners going from one island to another. It's a standard, simple job and that should not demand too much strength, as he's mostly just making sure the locks are still on the doors. Clara applies, gets the job, and finds that although he's pretty lonely and doesn't seem to quite fit in, at the same time he does an excellent job and he's encouraged and welcomed. However, one incident leads to them taking the dangerous figures following the mad werewolf Rommel towards a special prison. This is Cla's first time going to such a random piece of rock, and there he is given the task of putting each prisoner into something strange. They look almost like frozen coffins or tubes, things from science fiction program. And Klah is scared but does his job. However, as he puts them in, Rommel tries to escape, and the only way to keep him in is for Klah to grab hold of him and pull him into the tube. Both of them get locked in and frozen for a very long stretch of time. By accident, Rufio, or Dreyfus-Spiner, Santita let Ronald out and his group out, but also Klah, and it seems there will be a reason for this. for this. Final comments. I'll be honest, once we get through the battle with Carlotta, which we have just done as of the recent Wattpad update, the main plot starts to loom and Klah starts to have more of a position in it, just like Santino or Jane for Spiner. But it does take a little while as all of it's been slowly building towards big issues, so he does get a stronger role as time goes by. Thank you for listening.